Welcome to the NBTLT podcast with your guides to this magical journey, Lon and Zumi.
Welcome to another episode of the NBTLT podcast, where we take your dreams and we make them reality. I'm Lonnie, and I am here with my best buddy, my wonderful man, the guy that one day I will file a joint tax return with, Zumi. How you doing, Zoom?
I'm doing well, Lonnie. How are you?
I've had better days, but I've had worse days too.
Yeah.
So, about normal. Lots been going on.
I know.
This country's going crazy.
It is going crazy.
Black people getting pissed at white people getting pissed at black people.
And in the meantime, Korea's planning their world mass attack or whatever.
Yeah, they said, we're gonna go ahead and hold off on blowing up Guam, but everybody knows Kim Jong-un, guy's just gonna go back into one of his holes with like 3 of his advisors. He'll come back out with 1 because he killed 2 of them, and then come up with this brilliant plan. Yeah, fuck that guy. Have you seen like all the media attention that he got, like making it out to be like he was the victim?
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
what the fuck?
But that's been North Korea since the beginning of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, Kim Jong-il was pretty nuts, but I don't know if I'd call his son crazier. It's just more of the same.
I feel bad for the lady he had the son with.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't for love, because that guy was fucking ugly.
Yeah, he was pretty ugly. He was definitely not a looker. That's for sure. He wears the same outfits as Hillary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most likely a rapist.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Most likely. It's fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up, actually.
Starting on a high note here.
Like, can you imagine you're like the most powerful person in the fucking country and you're just ugly as fuck. Nobody will even you don't even have charms, right?
Yeah, you're just weird.
I don't know how you fall into that position where,
I want to.
So
who is his father?
I would hate to be the lady that, or the person that's just like, hey, you know what? I need an heir. You need me to find 50 bitches.
Yeah.
50 of the hottest bitches out there.
And I'm going to spend the whole week with them in this little villa.
And I'm going to decide which one's going to be my wife,
Yeah.
I'm going to decide. She's not going to decide. She doesn't have a fucking choice.
It's like a really fucked up version of The Bachelor.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'd imagine, I don't know. I'm saying this based on nothing. I have no facts, but I mean,
well,
I guess gold diggers exist everywhere, but I don't know. I refuse to believe that there was a gold digger saying oh, most powerful man in the country, I'm gonna have a baby with him.
Yeah, I don't. My question is like I said, who's his father? I meant who's Kim Jong-il's father?
Right.
And where did it all start? Where did the dictatorship start?
Dude, I have no clue.
Because it's been fucked up for a long time, as long as I can remember. And it's always been this thing where, there was the messed up situation, I guess, that happened between North Korea, South Korea, and families were separated. And
I mean, do we fully know why the division in the first place?
I'm sure that there's got to be something, but just like anything else with history, it's written by certain people with a certain viewpoint.
It was probably some shit like Gangs of New York, where they were just fighting for territory. They'd be like, well, you know what? One side decided they wanted to fuck their cousins. The other one said no, bro, we can't be doing that. And that's where it started.
Did you get to see that Joe Rogan episode where he was talking to I forget his name. He's the comedian, but he's got the handlebar mustache.
Ah, dude.
I'm trying to remember his name. But he was talking about how over in the Middle East, like with these Arab countries, there is so much incest that happens, like that it's pretty much taking them back to like the Dark Ages.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. Well, I saw the segment.
Yeah,
and Joe, I think it was funny because Joe was like where to like I think you're just pulling like shit out of your sleeve, or whatever. And he's like,
just
no,
making shit up.
He's like, no, look it up. And he found it. He's like, shit, man, you're blowing my mind with these things.
Yeah,
like,
it's messed up, isn't it? Like, what was it?
I mean, to their defense, it's only their first cousin. It's not.
Yeah, but like even then, it's first cousin. Like, you would think it's not quite as bad as like brother sister, right?
No, it's pretty bad.
But it's bad. I mean, and they've had results. I looked into it a little bit after that little segment, and like after I watched that, I looked at what the results could potentially be for like offspring of like second and third cousins. And dude, you have to go to like fourth cousin and beyond before it becomes something that's considered safe.
Yes.
Yeah. And how about you just don't do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that culture, I hate to say it.
It's pretty fucked up though. Like,
well, yeah, you have a lot of, the younger, girls and stuff like that getting married off to men and everything that might be like their uncle or something. It just fucked up. The whole thing's fucked up. Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on to like brighter things. Jesus. So you and I did something that most people that are
purists.
Most people wouldn't do it. Most people would wait till tomorrow. We didn't.
But no. It's not going to matter because, like you said, by the time I get this episode edited and everything, the new Game of Thrones episode will have been out.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched it, then fuck you. Go pause this thing because there's going to be some spoilers and yeah.
Yeah, I'd say if you don't want spoilers, move about 5 minutes forward, and check back.
It could be 30 minutes, though.
It could be. If you hear Jon or Daenerys, just keep on scrolling, But
no, but what do you think about the episode?
It's fucking crazy.
Well, first of all, how did this episode get leaked?
HBO itself, they accidentally aired it on HBO.
Really?
Yep, they accidentally aired it on their own channel. And
accidentally, air quotes?
Well, I have no idea. I haven't read much more than that, but what I have seen is that one or two employees had it in the lineup by accident, and it was put through. And a couple of people saw it, DVR'd it, or recorded it and put it up on torrent sites and stuff. But that's not the only place it's been. I mean, it's been on YouTube, it's been on Vimeo, it's been on Dailymotion. I mean, it's been everywhere. It's not hard to find. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you remember like the CEO talking about Game of Thrones like last year, or I think it was last year?
What about people torrenting it?
Yeah, he said like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Essentially,
it makes us feel better about it because people are actually watching it.
He was like, I'm actually honored that we have the Guinness record of like the show, the most pirated show.
Yeah. Well, and they get a lot of merchandise. I mean, it's almost like I would say that you're not getting as much money as you would from a subscription to HBO. No,
they make their money off of like the Blu-rays,
yes,
the streaming, because there's still people that will pay for like the streaming and all that stuff.
Well, there's a lot of people that pay for like the special edition stuff. And
now you have like action figures and shit. I wish like McFarlane would make the action figures. I would definitely get those.
That'd be sweet. They do a really good job. That'd be pretty cool to see. Like Tormund, from a McFarlane. That would be pretty cool.
I would get the Night King, to be honest.
So you like the Night King?
Yeah, I would definitely get that one.
That has got to be one of the most intriguing characters on the show. you know, just from what the hell was that? Did you hear it?
That's a truck.
Oh, it sounded like it was like coming from like a song or something in my headphones. But yeah, the Night King, I don't know. You know, there's all kinds of theories going around, like who he is. You know, like, is he a Stark? Is he a Targaryen? You know, or is he just one of the first men? You know, which I guess essentially the Starks are. But
He's gonna be Korean.
he's Korean. Well, he's that one. Do you remember when the Children of the Forest, like last season, like they stabbed him with dragon glass?
Yeah.
You know, and
Tournament.
I don't know. It's really odd, but dude, the dragon.
The dragon.
What the fuck?
I know. You know, like I at the last scene, or like I saw like the chains, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh. I'm like, no way.
Yep. I just felt my heart sink. You know.
Oh, it's just all I can think of was like Arthas from World of Warcraft.
Like Sindragosa, the dragon.
Yeah. So I'm just like going like, he's motherfucking frost dragon, really? And then he like opens it, like, it's a motherfucking frost dragon. Like,
Yep.
no way.
And you know which dragon it was?
No.
Viserion.
Was it Jon Snow?
No, it was Viserion, the one that she named after her younger brother, or her, you know, the younger of her two older brothers, the one that got killed by Drogo.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. You know, maybe some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good though, like for the action.
Do you think the Hound fucked up?
What, like when he just sat there?
Yeah, when he just started throwing rocks at him, be like,
Yes, I do. Well, because they're just standing there. You know, and then he throws the rock and that one is just like, oh, I guess it's frozen now. I guess we can walk over. You know, I honestly think they could have done that differently. You know, but just because, like, don't you think that, like, one of the whites would have known?
right?
You know, because they seem intelligent. Whereas, like, the regular dead army or whatever seem like they're just kind of like followers. But the one interesting thing that they found out is that if you kill one of the, you know, the lieutenants or whatever, any one of them that they've turned, just like a vampire type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the rest of
Yeah,
them
that
fall. That was a good way to do that.
That's pretty good.
But I don't agree with the logic, like they're saying, like, oh, we should try to kill the Night King, and John's pretty much like, no, because we need to take one back to King's Landing. I'm like, wait. If you kill the Night King, isn't it over?
Yeah, but I mean, there was no fucking way they were gonna reach him.
Yeah, no. Especially with
It's not
those
like-
ice javelins or whatever.
It's not like he was gonna take a challenge, like a one-on-one. It's like, nah.
Was that blood coming out of the dragon?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. That was a hell of a lot of blood.
Yeah, it looked like. Did you ever play that game, Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes.
It looked kind of like that when you kill the colossi. They're
Yeah,
just
it's
like
kind of
the
spewing
fucking
out.
the blood just like sprays.
It was a
I
really
don't know.
intense episode, though.
I enjoyed it. I like how like my spoiler was like a bunch of characters die. I'm like, that's like no spoiler for Game of Thrones.
No.
You know?
No, not at all.
But
Well, what amazed me is that none of the like main, not heroes, like main characters, but like none of the known characters died. None of them.
well, that one dude, the preacher.
Oh yeah, I guess him, but I mean, how much was he really important to the story?
Not really.
I was really surprised that the guy, I always forget his name, the guy with one eye that's been brought back 6 times.
Dondarrion?
Yes, Dondarrion. I'm surprised he didn't die.
Yeah, he like died way back in the books.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, oh, this is the episode. You know, but nope, not at all.
I like his flaming sword though. It's pretty cool.
Yes, those were my question is how did they actually light them?
They pray, I think.
Really? Is that it? I
Yeah.
thought that they might have like some like flint or something like that on their hilt. or on their glove or something like that. But I guess they really do get fire from the Lord of Light.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. What do you have? My wife is showing me a glass of wine. What are you showing me?
Do I drink it?
Yes.
It's a day old.
So? It's wine. Now she's happy because she has wine. But no, I really did think it was a good episode. It was really intense. And I think fans got what they wanted for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, you get more of the dragons and stuff like that, but you also got, like, the connection with Jon and Daenerys and everything.
And, so what do you think Littlefinger's up to?
Well, my theory is that he's trying, he feels that Arya is a threat, right? She's too smart because she's a lot like him, right? You know, now anyway. She's very cunning. She kind of knows what people are up to. And he can't really have her around if he's trying to manipulate Sansa, because he's already made it known what he wants. He wants to sit on the Iron Throne. So the only way to do that right now in his position is to be connected with Sansa in some way and be her, like, advisor. And he can't do that if Arya's around. So he's creating dissension with them. That's why he, suggested that Sansa keep Brienne around, because if Arya ever tried something, she would have to protect one or the other. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Arya's gone, then he can manipulate her. But what I think is going to happen, because you didn't see really much of Bran. I don't think did you see him at all in this last episode?
I don't think so. I think he just did, like, the crow vision, right?
Yeah. And I think that Bran is going to kind of help them see eye to eye, Sansa and Arya, and he's going to reveal to them what Littlefinger's doing, because Bran knows everything now. And I honestly think that Littlefinger's going to die in the next episode.
Really?
That is my bold prediction, is that he's going to die, and Brienne's gone, isn't she? So Brienne's not going to be the one to execute him. Who would be the one to execute him if he's... You think it's Arya?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know, man. I honestly think that he's going to die in the next episode. That's just my prediction, just because I don't think... They have one more season, right? And they have one more episode of this season. And they... Is it
only 7?
Yes. They have a big season coming up for their finale season. And a lot of that's going to be battles. And that costs a lot of money for production. And the guy that plays Peter Baelish, he gets paid, like, he's one of the top paid actors on that show. And I'm just saying, I think they're going to kill him off to kind of create cap space, if you will. I know it's fucked up to say, but I really think that, that's what's going to happen.
Well, I don't see him dying on the next episode. But...
Okay. I that's what I think. I think because of how fast they're moving with everything. No, I think this season finale is going to be intense.
So we got one more episode next week.
Yep. And I think it's going to have a huge cliffhanger, though.
Yeah, most likely. And then they're going to fucking delay the other one, right?
Yeah. What they're going to do, they'll watch them say they're going to delay the finale episode first. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? And they'll delay it like 4 weeks or something. And then they'll have the date set to release the next season. And then they'll delay that by like 2 months just to kill us inside.
I know.
No, but I'm excited about it. I honestly like the last few episodes. I think they're doing really well with them.
I think it'll be bullshit if they leave you like in a cliffhanger like Breaking Bad.
I don't think it'll be like that type of cliffhanger. I think it'll be like one of those. one of
The
those.
Sopranos.
Oh my god, Sopranos was the worst for cliffhangers. Like, because they'd have shit like the equivalent to that for Game of Thrones would be having someone with like a sword to their throat and it getting ready to puncture through, and then the episode ends, and that's the last episode of the season. So it's like, oh my god, did he fucking die? You know,
Jon Snow dying again.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, really?
Yeah, they've been good. I've been enjoying every single one of them. Like you said, the first episode was kind of slow. Didn't have a whole lot. I think there was some stuff happening, but man, it really picked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you can have a couple more episodes comparing, like, do you agree with me then that episode 1 was like just a fucking filler?
In some ways, I do. Yes.
Except maybe for like the intro with Arya.
Yeah, well, that shit was crazy. I would have thought that Arya would be smarter than that, like to find a note, that Sansa had written. I thought she would be smarter than that to kind of realize that Peter wouldn't just leave that somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe she's just cocky as fuck. She thinks she's like above everybody.
Yeah, a little proud, and can't really see past it.
Yeah, the one thing I'm not liking with the Arya character, like, she's supposed to be like a fucking human lie detector, right?
Yeah, and that's
it's
what
like,
I'm getting at.
Why is she like just making Sansa feel like she's like the bitch,
Yeah,
it's like, dude, like,
I think that she also has a lot of emotions. She's still Arya Stark. She didn't really stay with that group of people. And she's still Arya, and she still remembers all the stuff that happened. And I think that she's really emotional with that kind of stuff. And that would be fucked up. Like, if you found out that, like, your brother had betrayed you and your family like that, it'd be kind of hard to get past and, like, try to realize, maybe it wasn't really their intention to have this kind of shit happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Well, we could end the spoilers there. Maybe we'll put a little note on it, like, how far in would you say we are? I'll have to get a little time block for it whenever we do these spoilers.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, you're sending me stuff. Do you need to take a bathroom break, Sumi?
I do.
Well, you go ahead. All right. We'll be back. And we're back.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, dude, it's all good. I did do a little something different the last episode for our bathroom breaks.
Yeah, you did.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
It was a nice little change of pace.
I know there might be a lot of them on this episode, though.
That's okay.
I went to this party, had some sopes, and
dude,
they had this killer salsa, dude. That, oh my god, it's coming out with a fist.
Dude, we had Greek food over at Azar's. Did you ever go to Azar's when you were here?
I might have.
It's a tiny little Greek restaurant. It's of course family owned. It's got, like, I don't know, maybe seating for like 30 people. And we were the only ones there for a while. We had the kids there and everything, and oh my god, dude, they make such good gyros and falafel. Just so good. We have so much of it left too. It's in the refrigerator in 3 boxes. But oh my god, I'm gonna be shitting that stuff out for the next 3 days. It's gonna smell like fennel seed and.
Speaking of which, I kind of have a funny story from last week.
I like funny stories.
So, last week was kind of, it was on Sunday. It was let's pissed off Sumi day for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Life. Life just throws you these curveballs, and you're just like,
every damn day.
You gotta fucking deal with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, So there I was.
No shit.
And it's early. It's Sunday morning, and my wife like, what do you want for breakfast? And I'm like, well, I've been really craving some chorizo.
Yeah.
And I mean, you like chorizo, right?
I love chorizo.
So there's also the homemade chorizo.
Yeah. Which
is less spices than the one that we usually buy.
Yeah.
At the store. So I go to this tortilla place. So they have flour tortillas, corn tortillas, and then they have like fresh cheese, and they have beans, and they sell homemade chorizo.
Awesome.
Oh, and pork rinds. They have pork rinds too.
Chicharrones.
Yeah.
Or chicharrones.
Chicharrones. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, let me have 2 bags of chorizo, and then a pack of or like I think I bought beans. I can't remember if I bought tortillas, but anyways, I it's a young girl. She's new, so she gives me the bags, and we come home, and it's like an hour later before we decide, like, okay, let's cook the chorizo up now. And my wife cuts it up, and she's like, this shit is not good. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, look at it. And I look at it, and it looks kind of pinkish,
Aww.
And I take I share a sniff with her.
Yeah.
And I fucking gag, like, right away.
Is it just rotten?
Yeah, it was going bad. It was to that point where, like, they left it for, like, a day more than they should have.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll have the beans and I'll make some eggs. And she's like, no, let's take this bag. And I'm like, I really don't want to get back into my car and
start a fight.
Drive to this tortilla place. And she made this comment, like those ones that just hit you like right in the fucking man pride.
Oh yeah, be like, were you being a pussy, or grow a dick,
So, well, it wasn't that direct, but she did say, like, we're taking it, like, we should go take it back, because like what's, how did she word it? She worded something like, like, you always giving me shit about, like, not letting people push me around, yada yada yada. And you're like letting this kind of shit happen. And like I said, at that point, Sumi wanted to be right. So
bad move.
So I went, get in the fucking car, and she grabs the 2 bags, and she sees that I'm like, like pissed that I have to fucking drive back just to like return these bags. And I mean, it's only like 20 pesos a bag, so it's like $2, $2.50, something like that. So I'm like, I had to like put all the kids back into the car,
which is a chore in itself.
Yeah, it's like to me that much work, it's not worth it, right? But like I said, at that point I wanted to be right, because I wasn't gonna like take that shit.
Yeah.
She just, like I said, she hit me right in the man pride. So I go to this tortilla place, and the girl is still there, the one that rang me before, and I asked her, like, hey, that chorizo you sold me earlier, like, it's rotten. And I put the 2 bags in there. Oh no, wait, let me like, before, like, when I arrived, my wife like tried to like smooth it out. She's like, do you want me to go? And I'm like, no. Like, no.
Sit down.
So she's just looking at us like she's like really concerned, and I'm like, so I grab it, and then I go, hey, I did the nice approach first, like, hey, the stuff you sold me earlier, it's no bueno, it's rotten. And she looks at it, she's like, oh yeah, it's like, it looks rotten, So she looks, like I said, and she's new, like, cause I always go there, right?
Yeah.
So she looks to there's another girl, a young girl, but they're both fucking millennials, right?
Of course.
And she looks at her and she's like, oh, how do I do a refund? Like on the system, right? And he's like, well, do they have a ticket? And she's like, I don't think so. I was like, well, you need the ticket. So she comes to me and says, do you have a ticket? And I'm like, no, I wasn't given one. Like, you never give a fucking ticket. It's a fucking tortilla place. What are you talking about?
It's like I ask for it, you give it to me. That's what happens.
And she's like, well, you need to give me a ticket, otherwise I can't give you the refund. And I just went like, listen, the way I see it, you have one of two. It's like, one, you trusted my word. You trust in her word because you remember telling me this chorizo, correct? And she's nodding. She's going, yeah, right. And I'm like, so you can either believe in my word, in her word, give me my refund, or two, you can lose me as a client today. I will grab these 2 bags of chorizo and I'll just fucking throw them like here in your establishment. Dude, she freaked the fuck out.
Did you have the vein going on the forehead?
No. Well, no. I mean, but I you know, like I
you pinch your eyebrow.
I do this. I pinch my eyebrows like quite frequently so they were really marked. And like I said, I was common. You know, like it wasn't like I made a big fuss, but I did tell her that you have one or two choices, the way I see it. You know, and when I told her like, or two, you will lose me as a client today, and I will grab these 2 bags and I'll just fucking throw them all over your fucking establishment. And she just freaks like, no, like, no, that's okay. And I'm like, you know, like, I get it if I'm like returning a lot of merchandise, but it's 2 fucking bags of chorizo and they're rotten. Like, what's the need of me like trying to like rip you off for 2 fucking bags of chorizo?
Like, I don't want to be here, you know,
like. And she's like, oh, no, don't worry. So she made me sign like a little note where they wrote that the chorizo was bad. And I'm like, you see, like, it wasn't like fucking ticket. And she's like, so like right there, like a fucking asshole, you know, I go like, hey, I'm sorry. Like I don't mean to like be rude. Like it's like you said, you know, I just don't want to be here. Like,
yeah,
And she was like trying to go like, oh no, like that's okay. It's just the thing is like if we don't do like the refund like that with the ticket, like we get talked to, and I'm like, oh, then you should have started from there. Bring the person that I need to talk to in order for that to not happen. And she's like, oh no, that's fine. Like I'm like, all right. So I just grabbed my 40 pesos and left, and then I'm looking at Anna's looking at me like, oh my god, what did you do?
You're like,
come in.
Did you throw her the chorizo?
No, I didn't. No, she's just like, did they give you the refund? And I'm like, yeah, they give me the. Well, do you want to go to this place and get chorizo? It's like, no, like I think it was pretty clear that by the time I took that sniff out of that chorizo, like I was done with chorizo. Like. No, not for me that day, you know? Yep. Like, I don't want chorizo, like, now. Like, no. So, anyways, I there's a 2-parter to the story.
Oh, yes. A continuance.
So I don't know if you wanted to, like, chime in on these fucking millennials, man.
Well,
but we're technically millennials, right? It's like, I think it's 84. Yes. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not like.
I'm not connected to them in any way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't feel that self-entitlement bullshit. Like nobody, when I was a kid, nobody told me I can be whatever the fuck I wanted.
Oh no. My dad regularly told me that I was bad at stuff, like, but in a nice way, right?
Oh, mine wasn't, dude.
You know,
like I was just like, oh, I want to be a professional soccer player. Like, I don't think you need to worry about that. He's like, I don't think you need to worry about that, son.
Yeah. But it was in a way that it wasn't like my dad never said that kind of stuff in a way that I'd be like crushed. You know what I mean? You'd just be like,
mine did.
Fuck, dude, you know?
Well, mine has that, you know, that Japanese.
Oh yeah, the harshness. Yeah.
But, well, you know, it's one thing to say like to your kid, he's like, I want to be a professional basketball player, and be like, well, you got to work hard. And I'm telling you right now, your genes are against you.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
It-
But you know,
I think with millennials, I don't feel like a lot of it is their fault. Like you say, you know, they've been given everything. Either that they've been given everything or been told they're going to get everything, or they
Yeah.
can have everything as long as they want it. You know,
Right.
that's something that people need to realize. You know, like just because you believe in, like I hate to crush on people's dreams, but just because you believe that you're going to get something doesn't mean you're going to get something. Like you actually have to
Right.
do the work.
yeah, like I will never be 6 foot tall.
Well, they might come out with a surgery that's really simple, but you know, until then,
No. I don't think that's gonna happen. But you know, but it's just one of those things. Like you know, like people give fucking prices to everybody just for showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, like no, dude. Like you give to first place, second place, third place. That's what it used to be.
well, that prepares
know?
you for the welfare office. I'm serious.
I guess it does, right?
Yeah, because you show up, you get a check.
So no, you need people to say no to you, and like I said, not the first girl that was, you know, that sold me the stuff, but the other one, the one that was acting like as the trainer or manager or whatever, like, you know,
Yeah.
really, like, I need a ticket. I'm like, dude, like, it's too fucking bad. It's like $3.
Well, I think on her part, it would have been a lot easier for her, like you said, just to say, you know what, that's not really something I should be approving. Let me go ahead and get the manager. He'll just ring it through, you know, and get everything fixed and get your money back.
Yeah,
You know, it's that simple. It's like, it's a situation where it's like, yes, we fucked up. You don't have the ticket, but you know what? My manager, he does all that stuff, or she does all that stuff. Why don't we just bring him out here and he'll go ahead and do the whole thing? That way nobody gets in trouble and you get your money back.
yeah. And like I said, I mean, I was more than willing to like just leave the money, like just fucking.
Just take your shit.
Yeah, but like I like this is how I played the scenario originally in my mind. I'm gonna go there, they're gonna tell me that they're just gonna give me like, I can't give you a refund, but I can give you a replacement, and I'm gonna see like, no, that's fine, don't give me a replacement, just give me like some tortillas or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how I played it in my mind. But I don't know, like my wife's comment like rubbed me the wrong way, like.
No, but they do that, and I don't know if they always know that they're doing it though. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, like I went to Carl. We have a Carl's Jr. here in Rosarito, and my brother took me.
But they call it Carl's Jr. there.
No, they call it Carl's Jr.'s. Actually, I call it Carlitos because of, you know.
Because you're Mexican.
Yeah, because of Mexico. I can do that, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not racist at all.
But there was a couple of there's a millennial there, and holy shit, man! You want to talk about somebody that was just flat out rude, like taking my order. I would have to like fucking spell it out. And I hated when people interrupt me during my order.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, if I'm in the drive-thru and naturally you would, I mean, I think about 80% of your orders are going to be like multiple items, right? It's not just going to be one person driving through the drive-thru.
Oh, you mean like how they say, all right, that comes to, you know, such and such amount of money, and then you've only had ordered one item?
Correct.
Like they don't even stop to ask you to...
Or not even that. They'll be like let's say I order, like I always order the double Western, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I go, let me get a double Western, and when I go, okay, I'll say double Western, small combo, Coke, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time I'm going double Western combo, Coke, and then I'll say like, and,
Yeah.
and they'll like the and part, like I'll get interrupted and be like, will this complete your order? And I'm like, no. No, I have like 4 more items, like 4 more orders, okay? And then I'll be like, 6-pack of Stars for a kid, combo soda, right?
Will this complete
Will
your order?
this complete your order? And I was like, fucking, like, shut the fuck up. Let me finish.
Well, I hear what you're saying, because now, whenever I go through the drive-thru, I will usually preface anything that I order with, I have a few items to order here. Either that or be like, I'm ordering for 6 kids, or 4 kids and 2 adults, or something along those lines. Like be prepared, because this is going to be a large order,
right?
And
yeah,
sometimes
maybe
that remedies
that.
it. Sometimes it remedies it, and like they prepare themselves. They're like, okay, and what I've found is that like they're usually kind of like just sitting there waiting quietly for the next part, and that if I'm quiet for too long, then they'll be like, "Is that everything?" Like, no, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this, but yes, I understand what you're saying. The one that I've gotten pretty frequently is them giving me the price before I'm finished.
Oh.
And that shit, it's like, you didn't even ask me if I'm done. You didn't ask me, if I mean, even when I go, like, I've had them quote me the price before I even told them what kind of drink I wanted.
Damn,
like,
bro.
What the?
Yeah.
And then I get up there, and of course it's like, some 18-year-old guy, and it's like he looks like he just got done looking at his cell phone for 18 hours, and like, dude.
No. Well, anyways, my
second part.
No, we'll hold off. I'll hold off on the second part.
Ooh, I like
this.
But
it's in the same day. But that's what it was. Like, my wife couldn't believe I said that to a girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I fucking said it.
Yeah,
I sort of couldn't believe that I said it. Like, oh, you know what? Well, you have one of 2 choices.
Yeah. It's like you pulled a whole like Liam Neeson thing on her. No, it's no, that's funny. I mean, it sucks, but it's funny because I have that same experience, and like I've said previously, I've noticed that customer service or service positions of any kind have kind of gone downhill in like the last decade. Yeah. And you remember we used to go to Chili's all the time.
Oh my god, dude!
I love Chili's.
That's another place that I stopped going to,
and I can't go there anymore. I can't go there. I can't go to a few places. I mean, like, I can still go to like Red Robin. I can still go, to some of these other restaurants, but there's some of them now. It's like the only people they hire are people that fucking hate their job, which is fine. You can hate your job, and you could even tell me that you're having a shitty day. You can tell me as a customer, and I'm not going to mind. It's be like, I'm going to do my best to give you some good service, but I'm just having a really bad day, so you're going to have to forgive me if I didn't hear you correctly or something like that. It's like, okay, I could prepare myself for that. But you go into these places and they act like they are so put out at the fact that you sat down in the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I get that it's a job, but you're in a service position. I have to smile at my job. It sucks, but I do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like, if you really hate your job, then just fucking quit. I mean, don't ruin my day with your negativity. And like I said, the girl from Carl's Jr., like, my brother made the comment, like, man, looks like Carl's Jr.'s not going to win any customers friendly service awards anytime soon. And
in front of her?
Yeah, in front of her.
Awesome.
And she heard, like, and after that, like, he said, like, oh, it looked like she, like, changed her tone a little bit. And I'm like, no, she didn't. Like, the only reason why she did is because the supervisor came right next to her to, like, do something.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I thought my comment had more impact on her.
Like, no, they really don't give a shit about what you think.
I was like, no, dude, they no. It was because of the supervisor. And the supervisor was fine, like, but I kind of wish she would have, like, taken my order instead of this freaking high schooler or graduate or whatever.
Yeah, I've said before that I do have some like sympathy for people that are in leadership positions in any job. At least a modicum of sympathy for most people that are in a leadership position. Like a manager or a team lead or something like that. And it really depends on who they are, but I still, even if they're shitty at it, it's like I still respect the fact that people are going to hate you no matter what. Even if you're a nice guy, people are going to hate you. But the level of incompetency, I mean, I screw up all the time at work, right? Like, I do little things here and there, but I try to fix myself, right? Like, you make little mistakes all the time. But there's some people that do shit just to do it. And then they get into a leadership position and they feel like, well, now I don't have to worry about that because I'm the lead. Or I can be an asshole because this guy has to do what I tell him. And it's like, does anybody get leadership courses anymore? Does anybody get like...
well, no, they do. It's just... Well, the way I see it is that any leadership course that's out there right now
is wrong.
No, they're not necessarily wrong, but they're just taking out of context.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like it's like this NLP certification seminar where my brother went with me, and I told him like, hey, just keep in mind the type of people that show up to these things.
Yep, there can be some
everybody.
kooks.
They all have an opinion about nutrition. They all have an opinion about how you should do this. They all have an opinion about how healing should be done and all that stuff. Is just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like if I didn't set that to him, like if I wouldn't have prepared him to say like this is the type of people that show up, he probably would have quit like after the first day.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what what happened like during like they're teaching a technique, right? And they give you a script. So it's just fucking read the script.
Yeah.
And I had people trying to do their own thing.
It's like,
oh, this way is better. It's like, no, read the fucking script, please.
I can't stand those type of people that come into any situation and they already know what they're doing. Right. Yeah,
and like I have him in a group in Facebook, right? And I like I'll be honest, like initially I was posting like almost every day, like I was doing updates, I was asking for guidance and stuff like that, and most of the guidance I got sounded a little bit like this: oh, you shouldn't be doing that. It sounds like that's more like a master practitioner technique that you need to use, and I'm like. Okay, so when I went to the hypnosis certification and, like David's like, oh yeah, like I'm a master trainer from, directly from Richard Bandler, which is the creator. And he's like saying like, I always start my speeches like this. If you really want to complicate things, you need to hire a neuro-linguistic programmer. so I'm like, oh, so I told him my situation. He's like, oh, dude, like, yeah, I feel sorry for you.
Like, oh my god, man.
he's like, like to me, he's like, in order for you to be really good at NLP, you have to be good at hypnosis first. And I was like, and this is why, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And so in this group, whenever like people are posting about stuff and like any advice and stuff, and I posted things, like people would just like delete my comments and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how bad it got. Like they didn't like me challenging their stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, they haven't taken me out of the group, but so now every time I see like all of these like news, like, oh, welcome class of or new certifications from Colorado, Arizona, or whatever, and somebody is posting somebody like because they honestly post stuff like hey, help me out, I don't know what to do. Like they're all like, I have this client and I'm doing this, I did this, and it's not working. And so I send them private messages now.
Yeah.
And it usually starts like this. I'm sending you this as a private message because every time I post in a group, my stuff gets deleted because people don't like me challenging their stuff. And it's like, number one, don't let anybody tell you that this is a master prac technique that you need to use. That's fucking bullshit. Like, you can get any NLP book and it'll teach you all of the techniques that these guys supposedly, have on their repertoire. It's like, no, no. It's like the main objective is to help people, not to like say like, oh, I'm better than you because I have a master practitioner's certificate. It's like, dude, like I probably do more than you do just by doing hypnosis. This
is one of those things that reminds me that, I love when people have this idea about expertise as being this thing where you have to get a certain certificate or you have to have a certain, degree even.
Yeah. Well, Ben Shapiro does it on
yes,
to a student, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? Where he just says like, hey, or the guy starts all like condescending, like, well, do you have any like a sociology degree or any like certifications in social studies? And he's like, no, but I can fucking, like, one, I can read an article, right?
Yeah.
And have an opinion about it. And it's like, two, every time you want to debate somebody, I recommend you don't do it from a position of authority, i.e., I have a PhD, therefore I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, and first of all, it automatically shuts someone down in a certain way when you start off a conversation that way, or any type of debate. That's why I don't agree with, like, when in debate sessions, when you have, like, say, a creationist and an atheist, or you have a liberal and a conservative, anything like that, where you have the host introduce them with all of their titles, with all of their accomplishments, and then they move on. It's like, why? Just say, this is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so. Go. Or, like, what their positions basically are. Like, he's this, and he's this. Go. But it automatically, like, if let's just say this guy has 2 PhDs and this guy has 1, well, automatically the audience is going in favor of the 2 PhDs, or at least part of the audience is, right?
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. I mean, if you take a look at Einstein, the dude flunked school. Are you telling me that he wasn't a genius? Because he didn't have the certifications, because he didn't have all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can read a book, I can read an article, I can watch a video just like anybody else out there. The only difference is that I'm not going through that PhD program at your university just like you.
I'm not going you to the debt.
Exactly what they want me to hear. Right? Because a university's job is no longer to expand the knowledge and wisdom of youth. It is now an indoctrination.
Well, I mean, essentially it's a piece of fucking paper, right?
Yes, you are paying. If you go to an Ivy League school or you go to a top university, you are going to pay, what, $100,000, $200,000?
For a piece of paper.
For a piece of paper that says that you're an expert in so-and-so.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Dude, it's really... It's funny because, like, I have a friend that I talk to a lot, and like he has a master's degree in performance psych, right?
Yes.
And just in talking with me for like 15 minutes about like, oh, do this technique, like he's seen more results than any of the stuff that he saw in school.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, like, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I'm gonna like he's asking me how to like what to do with some of his clients, and it's like, we'll just do this.
And how does that happen if not from poor education? I'm just saying, like, I think the whole system is broken.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like, you go to any psychologist, like I said, and you tell them about this, and they're always like, "Oh no, that shit doesn't work."
Like, okay,
they're so close-minded about it, and it's like, this shit has worked better than the stuff that I saw with you when we were going through a program. Because I like, you know, I went through the golf program, and part of it was you had access to the two doctors that are in charge of the whole sports psychology and performance psych program.
Yeah,
these are PhDs, and you know, how is it that in a session of hypnosis I got more out of my performance than, you know, 12 sessions with them?
Yeah, it's insane, and it's you get a doctorate and then you are indoctrinated.
Yeah, you know? It's like this is well, you know, I can't really blame people. Like, I blame the scientific method.
The scientific method already is broken.
Right. Well, the reason, and I blame it because the scientific method doesn't leave any room for consciousness.
No.
It doesn't let consciousness in. Like, so they want to make it all black and white, and things aren't always black and white.
Well, it goes for the same. I could go down this road. I'm not going to. I'm going to at least try not to. But the one example I can give is that the scientific method only goes so far, right? It's a good tool for experimentation, right? The scientific method is an amazing tool for exploration, experimentation, you know, hypotheses and things like that. You know, it's good for that kind of stuff. When you start getting into things that are, like you say, consciousness, the one thing that I always come to is when I went through biology in high school, it was interesting because my teacher at the time, she says, you know, science has proven and will prove a lot of certain things, you know, throughout the course of history. The one thing that we have never been able to figure out is why life actually exists. Like, not like talking like the beginning, like whether it be the Big Bang or a creator or something like that. I'm talking like you have a human body and you have a group of cells that make up, you know, tissues that make up organs, you know, that form a human body, right?
Right.
Where does life begin?
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
it's the same thing for consciousness. It's like, what? Right. How do you scientifically explain consciousness?
I'll even put it more like, I'll even go even simpler than that. How do you understand language?
Yeah.
How is it that you're understanding the words that I'm saying right now?
That makes no sense.
Think about it. Like, and if you're like, well, because I learned English, yeah, I was like, well, okay, like let's go even more basic. My kid, he's one, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't speak the language, but he understands what I'm saying to him.
Yeah.
He understands when I say, hey, can go pick that up. He understands that, you know, I want him to pick up a certain object and put it in a certain place. Right?
Yeah. And you can do this with animals.
Yeah, you can do that with animals too. It's like, how do you understand language? Just, that's the simplest question that I can think of. Like,
and it makes
no sense.
You don't know.
You really don't know. So, but scientific method would say like, well, you have to like take all these variables into consideration, and you have to do this and that and that, and the answer is
we don't know.
We don't know.
No.
Well, they wouldn't take a we don't know. They would take our hypothesis wasn't formulated the right way, so we didn't find any like substantial change or whatever.
Yeah, you are asking the wrong questions.
No significant findings.
Yeah. It's pretty insane, isn't it? You know, like the whole thing. You know, like I can show you, you know, the movement of cells, and I can show you the forming of atoms and into molecules and things like that. The thing I can't show you is why. You know, that's fucking crazy.
I know.
It's like I can tell you about, you know, birds having a certain flight pattern during different seasons of the year, but I can't tell you exactly why it's that way. I can give you a good reason why it might happen, you know. But oh, that's pretty crazy.
And that in itself, that may not be like the answer you're looking for.
It might not even be close.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so fucked as a
crazy.
Human race.
Dude, it's fucking crazy, man.
Have you ever actually looked into like quantum physics? Shit is crazy, man.
I try not to. It's like I get into these fucking rabbit holes sometimes, Lonnie. Like,
oh, I know. I spend hours upon hours and days upon days on certain things that I have to just get out of.
Like this whole last week, I got into trying to figure out my life purpose, if there is such a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I did some self-hypnosis and be like, hey, with a dream, like show me, I word the suggestion as like, my unconscious mind will make my conscious mind aware of the true message behind the dream.
Okay.
Right? From Monday to Friday, I had a dream. And fucking dream didn't fucking make sense.
Did you write it down?
They were all like vivid dreams, and they were not like pleasant dreams. Like one of them involved like me witnessing a shooting, and I was just like, what the fuck, dude? And people were asking me like, what did you see? And I'm like, and I remember rule number 1 of every entire movie that I've seen, when you witness a murder, you don't fucking snitch. So I said like, I didn't see anything. You know?
What do you think about those people that purposefully do
snitch?
No. People that purposefully do the lucid dreaming.
No, I'm all for it. If it helps you, if you find the answers, like I want to know. Right?
There's a certain group of people out there that do lucid dreaming, and I wouldn't say forced, but intentional. That's a better word. Intentional lucid dreaming for, let's say, like you've seen Total Recall, the new one.
Yeah.
You know, like when they had those little chambers that you go into, you know, at Recall. And you could, you know, be with like 5 women at one time type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason that they do it, is so that you can become conscious within your dream and you can create these things that are happening in your dream. And that's one of the big reasons. They want to be a superhero. They want to fly. They want to have, you know, sex with a certain person, you know, and that's the only way they're ever going to get to do that kind of thing. So they do it within their own dreams and their own, you know, subconscious. What do you think of those people? Still all for it?
Like I said, I'm all for it.
It's
like
not whenever
I have those dreams where I feel in control, like the first thing that I do to test,
count my fingers.
I do the wall run.
I count my fingers.
The Matrix. I do the Matrix wall run.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a top in your dream?
No.
No, you don't spin it and see the.
Nope. I do the wall run, and if I can flip and stay, I say I'm in control.
Well, see, I do the counting. And that's like I can never actually count to 4. That's my thing. I don't know what it is, but like what I do is I take my thumb and I count with my thumb my other fingers on one hand. So I'll, you know, touch my thumb to each finger, and I can never actually get to 4 if I know that I can't count to 4 if I'm doing that. And I always like, what happens is I'll revert back to 1, or I'll go to, you know, like 3. I'll do that twice. I can never reach 4. And then I know, okay, I'm in a dream.
What do you do afterwards?
It doesn't really last for very long. The most I've ever been able to do is kind of like lift my body off of the ground.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And then of course, something like a kid will wake me up and be like, well, shit. You know, guess I'm not Superman today.
Mine has always been that. It's been flight.
Yeah. Because it's fucking crazy in dreams, isn't it?
I do the wall run, the Matrix wall run. And then after that, I'm like, I control it. Then I was like, I'm fucking flying.
Have you ever seen these documentaries on people that are now microdosing psychedelics?
No.
Yeah, you know what microdosing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Most of the people that I've seen in these videos are people that are microdosing, let's say, just mushrooms, right? Seems pretty harmless. No, because when you microdose a mushroom, I mean, when you take a full dose of a mushroom, just like one dose, like one hit, right? It's not that bad. From what I've heard, I've never done mushrooms.
Well, I wouldn't know, but I mean, the only thing I've done is weed, right? Like, so.
And you've done salvia.
Well, salvia, yeah, but that's a whole different thing.
It doesn't
like,
last
you can't,
for very.
You couldn't fucking microdose salvia.
No, you cannot. You cannot. That's too potent.
There's no way.
I don't even think with salvia. I don't think that there's much of a difference from you taking 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I think it has to do with how long you hold it in your lungs.
It might be. Well, anyway, well, with these people that are microdosing like on mushrooms, what they're seeing is like the results are they just have better days, right? They're able to appreciate small things. So if you take like the effects of a mushroom, like a full dose would be, is that you hallucinate, obviously. You know, colors are just insane, right? Cartoons, pretty much, in real life. But when you microdose, this one lady, she's a mom, got like 3 kids, stay-at-home mom, and she was suffering from, you know, severe depression. And I was thinking as I was watching it, I'm like, yeah, this chick needs to see Zumi. but she microdoses mushrooms, and she does it almost every day. And she just takes a very, very tiny portion. Like, so much so that you're like, that's not even going to do anything. But she says, like, you know, when I wake up, you know, like I'll have my breakfast or whatever, and I'll, you know, maybe take a shower or something like that, and then I do the dose. And then I'll go for a walk, and that's usually when it kind of kicks in. And when it kicks in, she says, like, I can see just things like, say, like a bee landing on a flower. Like, that just is now beautiful to me, and that's something I can pay attention to and appreciate. Or like a sunset or something like that. Or I can see my kids, you know, when they come home from school, and I actually enjoy the fact that they're coming home, and I don't worry about all these little things that are happening. And the thing is, like, she's microdosing, so she still functions just like normal, so she's able to pay her bills, do the laundry, do the dishes. But now when she's doing the dishes, she actually enjoys doing the dishes because she likes the feel of the water on her hands and stuff like that. But then I saw a video of a dude that microdoses psilocybin, no, not psilocybin, but DMT.
Oh,
and I'm like, how the fuck do you microdose DMT? And there's this dude that just microdoses DMT every single day. And they wouldn't show his face because he is a CEO.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy shit. And he's like, a lot of people would ask me, you know, you're a CEO, right? Like, you are a head of a major company. Why would you risk all of this to do that? And he's like, I didn't become a CEO until after I started microdosing. He says, before I worked in the mailroom. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I just thought it was really interesting. You know, like, you know, you talk about NLP and stuff like that, but I can't believe that there's people out there that are trying this kind of stuff. The one thing that I always wondered is, who's the first person to eat a mushroom? Or the first person to, like, drink milk from a cow, you know?
Yeah.
There's always the test subjects, and some of them probably died a horrible death, you know? But anyway.
Well, I mean, no, that's actually pretty interesting, though. Like, I would, that a CEO would do it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, why wouldn't they? Like, if anything,
it's not like they get drug tested.
Yeah, if anything, I think the president should do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, can you imagine? If it gives you that sense of fucking clarity, where you're just like, you can see like 10 step ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like NZT from Limitless?
Yeah, like that. It's just like, because that I'm thinking. The feeling that produces for these people is something like that.
Have I ever told you about that movie? Like, that's like one of my motivational movies. Is
what, Limitless?
Yeah, and it's not because of the drug. It has nothing to do with the drug. Like, absolutely nothing. The thing that always gets me is, like, the first time he takes it, and he gets back to his apartment after he, sleeps with his landlord's wife. When he gets back to his apartment and he realizes how disgusting his life is, and the first thing he does is clean everything. And then he goes and writes his book. And then he gets up the next day, he gets some more, and then he starts working out, and he starts doing all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm watching it, and I'm going, man, I'm a piece of shit. No.
But that's the thing, like, but it doesn't really it motivates, but it doesn't inspire.
No, not at all.
And you need to inspire to motivate.
Well, that's most of those motivational videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
I love them.
They just do one.
It's like,
yeah, but they just do one thing, but they don't do both. And that's the problem with all these like motivational speakers and stuff.
Well, there was one.
There
was a Navy. I think it was a general, or I guess you call him admiral, that was retiring, and at the same time, like he was retiring the next day, but he was going to talk to these college graduates first, right? And he gives them like a motivational speech, and he was a Navy SEAL at one time. And he gave a motivational speech, and it's probably up on YouTube, and it's one of the best motivational speeches I've ever heard. And he starts off with the phrase, like, the best advice I can give you is to make your bed.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this guy.
That shit that is honestly the best motivational video I've ever seen. And it was because of the fact that it didn't focus on one thing. It focused on you and who you are as a person. Like, life is going to suck. And it's up to you, to start with little things and to turn them into big things, And I just really liked the video because it was a lot different than like I love Arnold Schwarzenegger's speech, his motivational speech. That's a good one. I like all these other ones, but it just didn't quite capture the inspiration,
See, my favorite one, like of like all times, right? My all-time favorite motivational speech is the Charlie Chaplin one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one,
dude. That one gives me fucking goosebumps every time I hear it.
Oh yeah, because I think at points it makes you realize that, I'm not necessarily special, but at the same time, that's my fault. Yeah. And it's but it's also something that kind of, even if you're already successful, I think you should listen to Charlie Chaplin's.
No, Lonnie, I think you're special.
Thank you, sir.
So, changing subject here.
Yes, please.
Because I really want to know. Like, I'm curious. I've been waiting all fucking week. But you went camping finally.
I did. Finally went camping.
You didn't just go to any fucking camping site.
Well, we didn't go to Yellowstone.
No, but you went somewhere else that I didn't even have fucking clue that a place like this would exist.
Where was this? Where did you think I camped?
That nudist place.
Oh, no. I never went there. I never went there.
Oh, you motherfucker.
No, I was just fucking with you. I'll have to post the picture up on the website. We passed it, and I thought it was hilarious because I was like, but it was also quite disturbing. We actually went to Chatcolit Lake in Idaho.
Yeah, shit.
Which was
the story that I was painting in my head was a lot interesting than this, Lonnie. Like,
so you thought that like I took the family to a nudist colony?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about your camping trip anymore.
No, it wasn't quite that interesting. I mean, it was gorgeous where we went, but I do have to tell you the story because we were driving and we had one of those moments where like the man knows how to navigate and the woman doesn't. Is Christelle around? If you see her come up behind me, you gotta warn me. No, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't necessarily like I knew where I was going. I was just following directions on my phone on how to get there.
Oh, big mistake there, right?
Well, actually not. It just turned out to be a happy accident. Well, we got to this place. It had the address. Christelle showed me where she got the campsite paid for and everything, and it had the address on it. So I take the address and I just put it into Google Maps. And so it gives me the road. It says right there, Chatcolet Lake. I'm like, okay. So that's where that's where we started driving. We get there and we're like, okay, where the hell's the campsite? And it's just like all these docking, places for boats. I'm like, okay, this isn't right, and it had like a little thing that said campsite off to the side, but it didn't look like a campsite. It just looked like a bunch of like cabins and stuff. I'm like, well, we're not fucking sleeping in a cabin, So we went back up the way we came, and Christelle was mad at me because she thought I sent her to the wrong place. So we went the directions that it tells you on that same page. So it took us this other way, and guess where we ended up? Same fucking place. So we end up in the same place, and we're like, what the fuck? So we look around, and we see the little thing that says campsite, so we go that way, and you have to go in between all the cabins and stuff, and there's the campsite. And but that was the beginning of it. Then we get there, we get to the campsite, and we're on the very back end of the campsite, which is fine. I don't care what campsite we have, except we are up on a hill. Like the hill goes pretty far up. It's like out in the middle of the forest, right? And there's some other campsites around us and everything, but they're kind of separated by like at least 20 feet of like brush and trees. And when I say we're up on the hill, we were on the fucking slope.
So you had to put your... you had to park uphill?
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean, it had a platform that you could get onto for every little section of the campsite. So like the picnic table was on a leveled out platform of dirt. And then you go up a little bit higher up the hill, and there's a platform where you can put the tent, which, mind you, was just enough room for us to put the tent on. Then you go up a little bit, off to the right, and there's a little platform right there for the fire, but it's all uphill. And it was kind of shitty, because we're like, oh, man, I don't want to have to, like, fucking walk up and down this thing just to get shit in and out of the car. But we ended up doing it. I mean, the campsite and the area around it was gorgeous, but that was the first part of it all, and it ended up being okay. We did have a raccoon try to get into the dog food that we brought, but I got to tell you, dude,
But no naked people.
No naked people. But that was the one thing. When we were driving, we drove past this sign that said, like, I think it was Meadow Nudist. Family nudist camp.
Family nudist camp.
And I'm like, okay, so it just struck me, like the one word that kind of popped out was family. I'm like, okay, I know that there's like nudist colonies, but not like a day camp.
They don't like to be called colonies. It's a community.
Whatever. But this wasn't one of them.
Saying.
This was like an outing type of place. This was like like you go to have like recreational fun, right? Like for a couple nights and then you leave.
Do you think they're like Chuck E. Cheese, where like if you show up as a single man or a single woman, they'll like kick you out?
I don't know. And this is one of the things I was going to ask you, is because I went to their website, because they have a website, and I'm like, okay, they're not going to just show up like straight up nude people on their website. That'd be improper, right? Because they have to realize, even though they feel a certain way, the rest of the world kind of feels a different way about what they do, and they don't want you just showing pictures of naked kids. They didn't. There was no pictures of naked kids or anything like that on the website, but there's tons of ass on this website. And
Are they pretty at least?
No. And the question I asked you over Messenger was, how much difficulty do you think they have with like keeping out pedophiles out of those type of places? I mean, I mean, you have a hard enough time doing that with regular type of events and communities.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just really disturbed me, like the whole thing. Like, I get you want to have a certain lifestyle, or like you want to have like go away and you have a certain feeling about nudity, and but I'm not going to be taking my kids to a family nudist camp.
I would say, yeah. The only way I could be a nudist if I was like packing like a brother,
I guess.
I'll be walking like, chin up high and.
Oh yeah, if you have a giant member, I guess it's not that bad. But
Yeah.
But I mean, they have the same thing they'd have at any other like camp. Like
No,
they
but
have like music and.
I really don't get like nudists because it's like, dude, like really.
I don't understand the logic behind it. Like, we
Well,
are
I
advanced
don't like
enough.
clothing, man. It's made out of that poor sheep. And it's like, yeah, that poor sheep was fucking hot, and that's why like I help her out by wearing this shirt.
Well,
'cause-
actually, I don't think they have an argument against things like wool and cotton. I don't.
no, I think they do.
Really? How could you have an
Yeah.
argument against that?
I don't know.
Because you realize that like sheep are pretty much made for producing clothing.
Yeah, but I guess they don't see it like slavery, man.
And a sheep like gets really uncomfortable, and it can actually be extremely dangerous for a sheep to have an overgrowth of wool.
Did you hear that joke about the two ladies that were talking about their clothes?
What?
And one was like, it's a joke. It's an old joke. It's like a 40s or 50s joke where it's like two ladies are talking about their clothes, their dress. And he's like, one of them was like, oh, my dress is 100% virgin wool. And the other one goes like, well, so what if mine had a little bit of experience? I don't know.
That's pretty lame.
Stupid joke. It's a stupid joke.
That's a really sheepish joke.
I know.
Have you seen those dad joke videos?
Yeah, they're fucking lame. They're funny though, but
The one that got me was there's this female rapper now, and she only raps when she's menstruating.
what the fuck?
She's got mad flow.
Mad blow.
Or what kind of hair products can you get at IHOP? Egg extensions.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, let's stop. Let's stop there.
Oh.
Oh. So yeah. So aside from the hill, how was the camping trip?
I mean, it was pretty good. It was
Did you
really,
fish at all?
No, it was really fucking hot the day we got there, and we had.
Were you with us that one time we went fishing and I got a $400 ticket?
What, for not having your license?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it wasn't. I had my license. I did have my license, but we ended up taking the blame for somebody else that didn't have a license, and essentially I had to pay $400 for.
Was that
the
my
ticket.
fault?
No, it wasn't your
Oh,
fault.
then I don't care. No.
Fucking park rangers, man. Oh my god, that's a whole.
You don't want to be a park ranger with me, Zumi?
No, I don't want to be a park ranger.
I don't think I could. I don't.
I would be a cop with you.
I don't know if I could be a cop, Zumi,
Then we can hit the streets like fucking Training Day.
or 21 Jump Street.
Or no, not 21 Jump Street. Training Day.
Well,
I
what
would
about the
definitely be
other guys?
corrupt. I would be corrupt. I would be like stopping every hot chick that I can find,
Yeah,
and then
bad.
and I would make
and
like
I'd be the
everyone
one
that
to
would be like,
apologize.
yeah. I'd be like, oh, can we work this out? Show me your tits, and that'll be enough. Like too.
Yeah, I couldn't be a cop. There's no way.
Not with this podcast. Like
I think I
Up in-
might look like a
running-
cop, but
running in cyberspace. Like no, there's no fucking way.
Which reminds me, my dad's going to be in a movie.
What?
Yeah.
Get out
So
of
my
here.
dad had this. I won't explain all the details because like it's up to him. If he wants to come on the show and explain the whole situation, he can.
He might get edited out.
No,
the final product.
No, actually, it's part of a big scene. Like he's an extra, but he does have lines. So it's not a big movie. It's a Western, which is of course perfect for my father. He's in a bar fight scene in a Western, and he yells out, "Get 'em, boys!"
Oh, shit. That's going to be classic, dude.
And the working title, which is obviously not the final title, most of these movies, like I was trying to explain this to Christelle, and she thought I was full of shit, was that a lot of movies, especially like the lesser-known movies, or like made-for-TV movies, they have what they call working titles that are usually an attempt to keep things secret or to keep things from leaking, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, this one,
it's like...
the working title is High Noon. And obviously there's other movies that have been called High Noon. But he's been confirmed that the scene is going to be in the movie. And...
Did he already shoot the scene?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now,
okay.
The reason he's been acting is because he had somewhat of an early retirement for a situation that happened at work that he kind of got screwed for. Now he's going back to work next month. It was like this big misunderstanding, right? I don't know the full details of it. I just know that he got screwed. So he's going back to work. He's going to get his back pay for it and everything. But during that time, while he was off, not knowing whether or not he's going to go back to work or if he's going to be early retirement, he decided to call somebody that he knew that just happened to be an agent, and just kind of try it out, right? Go to auditions. And apparently he can, like you've met my dad, the dude's going to be typecasted. Just the way he looks. He's going to be typecasted. And like I said, a bar fight scene in a Western is classic dad. And so he made the joke that, to his wife, Carol, that he's going to, he got got the part for a Cialis commercial. And she,
oh my God.
And she lost her mind. She's like, "You are not doing a Cialis commercial. That is your face forever. You are not doing a Cialis commercial." But he's had a couple of people call him back and stuff like that. But this was the one role that kind of stuck and that he's actually going to be in. So when I find out the movie, I am most certainly sharing that shit all over social media and the website, especially the scene.
Get him, boy.
Get him, boys. Dude, that's kind of scary. I don't know if I'd want my dad to say that. It's freaky. That man scares me.
It'll be really funny, though.
Yes, it would. I told my dad that if they ever make a remake of Bonanza, he could be Hoss. So, yeah. I just thought that you might like to know that. I thought it was a cool story.
No, well, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad for him.
Yeah.
How much is he getting? It's like
$400. No, he said for the whole thing, for all the shooting and stuff like that, for like a week's worth, it was about $4,500, I think he said. So it's not bad. I mean, because he does have lines. And that makes a big difference when you're acting. Like, if you don't have lines, unless you're the main character and a mute.
You think you can act in a movie?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I tend to, I've done acting before, not with films, obviously. I did a lot of theater and stuff like that, and I love acting. But I tend to go over the top sometimes, and I'm not really actor material. I'm more of a stage actor.
You'd be like Michael Rappaport. Get him.
I'm not quite that bad. But no, I'm more of a stage actor. I don't think I could really do film or television. I don't think that's for me.
Well, it's really easy though. Because nowadays everybody just fucking mumbles.
Yeah, but there's
They
a
just
lot of
stole
stuff that goes into camera.
Do you realize they just stole that format from all like indie films?
Oh yeah,
that were coming out like in the 2000s.
yeah, absolutely.
Like everybody fucking mumbles now. It's like, dude, like fucking speak up.
Yes,
like,
but
can't hear you.
But seriously, I honestly think that that's one of the big purposes of independent films.
Oh, I really think we should go out right now. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, boy? I'm acting.
No, I honestly think that independent
like,
films
man.
have a role in film.
He's like, no, man, my fucking boom doesn't work. It's a cheap ass boom. You gotta fucking speak up. Like, but this is the way I am.
You know who? The actor Michael Caine. He used to do those. What do you call them? They're like little seminars on acting. I mean, because he's obvious. Like even back when he was young, he was an extremely accomplished actor.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's done everything. He's done stage acting. He's done theater in the round. He's done film, television, anything you can think of, and he's done all different types of roles. And those videos, like the older videos of him doing those little sessions, like on how to act in a certain situation, are really interesting. And his little session that he talks about, like on crying on film, he says this is extremely important. Like you have to differentiate the role of the person crying. He goes, and it does make a difference whether it's a man or a woman on what you do. He goes, for men, he goes, the most you should ever do as a man for about 90% of roles on television or film is get watery-eyed. Never actually cry. And you're kind of like going like, what? You know, like I'm pretty sure I've seen some movies where, you know, guys have like had tears just poured down their face, and it was a decent movie, and the guy seemed like he was crying for real, right?
Shit, Patrick Swayze, dude.
Yep. But he says, if you look at the really good actors, the men who do these things, he goes, women are a completely different thing. Like they have to cry. He goes, unfortunately, that's something that they have to do in order for you to be pulled in. They have to have tears, or else it's just not genuine. For men, the only way you can seem genuine is to try not to cry. He goes, and I know it sounds cliche and very stereotypical of men. He goes, but that's the only way you can connect with the audience. And he gave an example. He's like, all right, he goes, you know, he did the little thing like, let me prepare. You know, like I need absolute silence. not quite that bad, but he's like, just give me a minute. He goes, give me a subject. You know, a sad subject of something. So the guy obviously gives him the like, oh, your dog just died. And he goes, oh, that's easy. So he kind of just sits there and he kind of enters his little trance or whatever. And he looks up. I swear to God, he looks up and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to cry. And he's not even watery-eyed. And he just starts talking about like you know, how much it sucks, you know, like the dog has been with me forever. And then he starts doing the thing that he did in Batman. Do you remember when he is talking at Bruce's gravestone?
Oh yeah.
He never actually cries. Watch the movie again. He'll get watery-eyed, but he doesn't drop a tear. It's fucking crazy. The guy's a genius at acting.
It's pretty interesting.
You know,
I'll take a look at it.
But I will say that the one guy that can make me cry just by watching him is Will Smith.
They just do the sexy tear?
No, when he does the obvious one is during Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when his dad leaves him again.
Oh yeah,
that's a hard scene to watch.
Yeah,
but there's others. He does crying a lot in different movies and stuff like that. But he's one of those guys that I just can't watch. I'm like, well, shit, you know.
So I saw this movie, and I think I told you about it. The girl with all the gifts.
Yeah, you told me about it.
Have you seen the trailer for this?
I have heard of it. I don't think I've seen the trailer for it.
Okay, so what have you heard about it?
All I've heard of is the title, and I think the actress. See, girl with all the gifts. Sorry, audience, for the typing. Let me see. Maybe I'll just go to YouTube. Isn't it the one with the little
I'll just talk about
the
it.
black girl? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. So it's another zombie movie, right? But it's a well-made zombie movie.
Define well-made, Sumi.
Well, the story doesn't. It's not like we're eating brains and Walking Dead type thing.
Okay.
Like it actually focuses on the one piece that I think it's missing in all of these zombie movies, which is like humanity.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's like the apocalypse for humanity in every situation.
Yeah. So the premise is that they have it's not a virus. It's it's like a fungus, a pathogen.
Okay.
So for the existing adults, it just makes them go fucking bonkers, and they're like they're craving blood, right?
Okay.
Like a zombie.
Yeah.
But the pathogen like mutates, it evolves to where it brought a different breed in. So there's this group of kids that they have in this base, and they're really, really smart.
Okay.
They're like really, really smart kids, but they're infected.
Oh, great.
They carry the fungus, right?
But they still have hunger, right?
Yeah. So so what they in this world, they have these like the grown-ups or the military have these gels that kind of blocks their sense of smell.
Yeah.
But if they're not wearing it and they just go near them, they'll smell, they'll get hungry, and they'll just fucking go ape shit.
Oh, okay. So there's like a frenzy, like they can't control the frenzy part of the hunger.
Correct. So, but it's like talking to a kid. It's still a kid, and so the whole thing is about like these guys don't consider them a kid. They consider them killers, essentially,
Yeah.
like mutants or whatever. So this little girl, the black girl, she's you could say she's like the smartest of like all of the kids.
Okay.
And she's also the most like she doesn't view the world and her role as something bad. She just wants to be a little kid.
Okay.
So it has Glenn Close, and they explore like
I love Glenn Close.
They explore the whole thing about what's his name? The fucking riddle, the logic riddle about the cat in the box.
Oh, Schrodinger.
Yeah, the Schrodinger. So they explored that concept.
Like how? It's
you
still a
have to-
kid.
No, you have to see it, because otherwise I would give like way too much.
Oh, so you watch this? You watch?
Yeah,
the whole...
I've
okay.
I've
I
watched
see.
this movie.
I'm
I've
looking
seen
at
this.
I'm not watching it, but I'm looking at the YouTube results here, and it says a year ago. Okay, is this on Netflix?
I didn't see it in Netflix. I saw it in this Russian website.
Okay, well, for all of you out there that might be working for the FBI right now, I am looking up to see if I can find this to order. Yeah, legally, absolutely.
Like I said, all my streaming is always done in Mexico. So like, I don't think this webpage works in the US actually with an IP or US IP.
Oh wow,
but it's
got pretty good reviews.
It's called xmovies.ru.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna order this yet, since I'm.
But like I said, they explore that concept, and it's really, really good.
Okay.
So something happened, like the base gets overrun, and they're trying to get And this is the thing. They're not trying to save this little girl. They're trying to take her to a lab so they can fucking cut her open and try and find a cure.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Like it's not, and that's like your classic like The Last of Us or like Logan, where they're trying to save the girl because like, oh, it's a little girl, like she carries the cure. It's like, no, that it's like the cat. You don't know if the cat's alive or dead, right?
Yeah.
Until you actually open the fucking box.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, something happened this week. Today, actually, and it's because I was a little bit more aggressive on Facebook. Well, maybe not because of it, but I was a little bit more aggressive on Facebook, asking our audience to please set.
And by audience, you mean like your relatives?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Grandma, can you send a picture, please?
Well, my
Or
grandparents
like
are dead, so I don't have to worry about it. We did have an audience member, one of my very, very good friends, Justin. He sent in a question. And whether or not you have good or bad questions, I just want to tell the audience this. I don't care. Just send them in, and we're going to have fun with it anyway. But the question was, if you could choose any soccer player as the next Patriots kicker, who would it be? Now, obviously, this question was directed at the Patriots fan. So, being one that doesn't know that much about football,
I think I got the correct answer and the best answer. But I'm gonna let you answer first, Lonnie.
But if you say something like Beckham, or if you say something like what the fuck was his name? Like Landon Donovan, right?
Yeah.
If you say something like that, I'll slap you. Give me a good answer, Zumi, on top 3. Or like Pele. Don't fucking say Pele.
Well, no, you're gonna answer this question first because my answer is fucking priceless. It's perfect.
Well, I know almost nothing about European football.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I know nothing. Now, the only guys that I've ever seen, watched intently, is either the German team or Manchester United.
Oh, come on.
I know. And it's
all right.
But I like
you want
soccer,
my answer?
But it's just I'm not as interested in it as American football.
Don't call it soccer.
I'm sorry. Football.
So here's my answer to this.
Okay, go ahead.
Any player in the Mexican team.
Really? Heart.
Yes, you know why?
Are they accurate?
You know why? No, because we all know that if you put him in a penalty situation, they're all gonna fucking throw it overboard. So a field goal, in the field goal, the objective is to send it up high, right? Yeah. So all you have to do is put a goalie below and pretend that they're shooting a penalty shot.
So you just dress up some guy and put him underneath the uprights.
Yeah, and that guy is gonna fucking fly that ball, and he's gonna. Everybody in playing football is gonna be celebrating. He's gonna be all down like, God damn it, I missed my penalty shot.
Now, see, I was gonna be the stereotypical asshole, and I was gonna say Pele, but I had no idea. But I did a little bit of research. I did a little bit of research on some of the most accurate kickers in pretty you have I started with Manchester United, and that's only my favorite team, and I think you know why. It's because they're the only team that I have ever actually associated anything with, and it's because of a movie.
Yeah.
And what movie was that, Sumi?
Euro Trip.
And I found out that they're not that bad. They're not great, but they're not that bad. But I got a little further, and I started looking at other things. Started looking at the German team. I started looking at the Spanish team, the Brazilian team. Holy shit! And the one guy that I found was this. Let me see if I'll say his name right. Diego Forlan. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, this guy, Uruguayan, but he's a white dude. And he kicks the ball pretty damn accurately. And that was going to be my answer, but it was going to be a sad answer. I'm sorry, Justin, just because I just don't know that much about football. I just don't. But I thought that Zumi could give the better answer.
Well, like I said, that's my funny answer. Just get the worst penalty shot.
That's a good answer.
No,
though.
but if you want, but I mean, if I were to pick one, it would be Brazilian player Roberto Carlos.
I've heard that name. I just don't know who it is.
Yeah, this fucker was amazing. Like he could do like a corner kick.
Yeah.
And curve the ball in such a way that would hit, and he would score a goal.
Now, my only question
like on the other end of the
this stuff has been tried. I'm just gonna say that this stuff where like the NFL tries to mold a player from a different sport into the NFL, that's been tried, and it doesn't always work out. Sometimes it does. But with
it will, I'll tell you what though, it will work out on the 26th when Conor McGregor beats the living shit of Mayweather.
Oh, we're going to talk about this. We'll get to that. I wanted to talk to you about this, and it's pretty much just going to kill our set list, but that's okay. With kicking, now I do know a little something about NFL kickers, and I do know that almost every single one of the NFL kickers in the league right now are almost completely insane. Like, they are mental. They're lost causes, pretty much. They are just so in their own head. But it's because of what their game is. You know, a game can be won or lost on one kick. A game can be changed by one kick. And this is these guys' entire job, you know, barring kickoffs, which are important too. And the mechanics, to me, just seem like they're so much different. Would you agree?
Slightly, yeah.
Now, the one thing that I do think that and you'll forgive me, a soccer player has, the one thing they do have going for them is the conditioning that they have to go through in order to build that type of power, accuracy, all the, you know, those types of things into their kicks, right?
Right.
And I would think that a soccer player would have more power than an NFL kicker. That's just my opinion. Would you agree? Let's just say like a goalie. Would you say a goalie has more power in their kick than an NFL kicker? Or do you just think it's different?
Well, no, it's just different, right? Well, I mean, for starters, the ball is different.
Yeah, you have an oblong and then a sphere.
So you can do more shape shots with a sphere than...
I don't necessarily agree with that. But
well,
I think that's
like,
the difference between a
if you,
punter and a soccer player.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at like the way a kicker in football hits, it's essentially a straight. Like, their legs are straight.
Yes.
For the most part, right?
Well, mostly yes.
Soccer, they use a lot of knee bending.
Yeah.
Just to shape the flight of the ball, but I don't know.
Do you think that they could utilize that? I mean, they can kick the ball however the hell they want to try to get a field goal or an extra point in football. You can do whatever the hell you want as long as your hands, knees, ankles, or I mean even your ankle, you can touch. But anything below, I forget the actual rule, but anything below like the midway point on your calf is legal.
So they can essentially hit it with the like you can do a Muay Thai kick.
Pretty much. You can do whatever
shin.
you want, but as long, you know, if you can make a field goal with hitting the thing with your shin, who cares? You make field goals, right? But like I said, I think the mechanics might be different, but I don't think it would matter because, like you say, like once again, forgive me, a soccer player has, let's just say they have more time to practice kicks and accuracy than an NFL kicker does. And that's why I think that they might actually have an advantage. So the character on The Replacements, you remember that guy, the English dude?
Yeah.
I could see how those guys could kick like a 60-yard field goal with no problem.
Makes sense.
Mostly. But I don't know. I don't know just because it's different. But like you say, if you choose the Brazilian guy.
Yeah. But I mean, granted, he was like in the 90s.
But it doesn't matter. Like his
if
Justin,
it's a modern player, I can
was very vague on time frame. So we're just going to go with, anybody that ever played football. So. Now.
All right. So let's go to the McGregor
Let's go to
fight.
the fight because it is this weekend. And we are not recording this week. Well, although we might be able to do a short episode.
I don't know. I'm betting on McGregor.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put $200.
Really? Now, I gotta ask you.
Well, it's crazy. One of my buddies is placing $1,000 on Mayweather. It's like, dude, if you place $1,000 and if he wins, you only get back like $200.
He might actually lose money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because you have to pay fees for that. If you're putting it through like a reputable betting company, you have to pay fees. He might actually lose money doing that. I'm just saying, like, if you put money on Mayweather, you have to put a large portion of money for it to make sense. Yep. Because
that's why
Vegas
that's
odds
why my
right
bet.
now. Let me see the Vegas odds.
I think it was plus 350 and then minus 450 for Mayweather
odds. Mayweather McGregor. There we go. It's like the first one. Sporting News is good. Let me see. Okay, I'm looking for it. Here, go ahead and zoom in while I'm looking for this. What is swaying you to bet on McGregor?
Well, the odds are better, right?
Yes.
They pay more for less money, and the other one, like I honestly believe what I said about the whole belief and self-sabotage that could happen just by the Tony. Is it Tony Marciano?
I think so. Yeah. No, not Tony.
It's not Tony, right? It's Marciano. It's Marciano. Like whatever.
Rocky Marciano.
I can't remember his first name. Rocky Marciano's record. Because Mayweather always strived to tie him.
Yeah.
Tie him, never to surpass him. So if within his beliefs he feels or he believes, and it's not a conscious thing, right? Then in order to keep that record, he has to lose.
Yes. Now, the one thing, like I've already talked about, what my reasons are for going for McGregor. The obvious one is my bias for McGregor. I just like him better. I think that athletically, he's better as a fighter, an all-around fighter. Like, if this was an MMA fight, just as well as I do, and pretty much 90% of the world knows, there's no chance Mayweather has even the smallest amount of a shot, right? But that's not the reason why I'm going for McGregor. The reason I'm going for McGregor is not because I like him, not because of who I think he is as an athlete. It's because of, like you say, the mindset. And let's just look at Mayweather's. Like, we've already talked about this. Mayweather's mindset is he wants to break a record. Right?
No,
keep a record.
It was keep a record, tie at the record.
And he can't, like you say, he can't do that if he breaks it. He's already built his entire boxing career and pretty much his life around that record. But the other thing is that McGregor is on a completely different mindset. And McGregor's is to be the biggest badass the world has ever seen. Right?
Right.
I mean, it's basically, in a nutshell, that's what McGregor is looking to be. To show the boxing world that what you guys do is child's play. Basically. Like, it may not be a child's play fight, because I still think that in the boxing realm, with pure boxing, Mayweather's better. Obviously. But from everything that I've seen, like, we have gone over this, I've frustrated you with sending you videos of, like, the press conferences and stuff, understandably, because it's all a show. But I've seen enough of McGregor to know when he's being serious, when he's pissed, and I've also seen when he's just playing around and he's getting a payday. Obviously, he's getting a payday if he loses. I think it's like 20 mil. That is, from what I looked at, that is 10 times larger than any purse he has ever got from winning. That's insane. Especially when you think of, like, the differences between MMA and boxing. So, either way, he's happy. McGregor doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's what he's looking for. Obviously, he wants to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid. But that's not McGregor's goal. He's made that quite obvious, right? McGregor's goal is not to be the highest paid fighter in the world. McGregor's goal is to be the biggest badass the world has ever seen. And I think he can do it. Just because I've seen these press conferences, and when he digs into Floyd's personal life, when he gets into these things, and when he starts talking about this little man who has no shot, and when he puts fear, and I really do believe that he put fear into Mayweather, because nobody else in the world has ever been able to tell Floyd that has fought him, has ever been able to tell him, I could kill you if I wanted to. Nobody's ever been able to actually tell him that's ever going to step in the ring with him until McGregor. You know that goes into somebody's head. Yeah. I don't care how disciplined you are, even as disciplined as Mayweather is. Somebody tells me, I'm going to step into the ring with you, and if you piss me off, I could cripple you if I wanted to. I could kill you. I could embarrass the shit out of you, and I don't really care what happens to me. I mean, that's a scary thought. Mayweather is 40 years old, and it may not mean much. I mean, Tom Brady's 40 years old. He's playing the best football of his life. But there's a difference. He's not a fighter. Mayweather's a fighter. Things start to wear on you. When was Mayweather's last fight? Like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
And it wasn't the Pacquiao fight. That was like 3 years ago.
No, it definitely wasn't the Pacquiao fight. It was it was not a fight that was, like, memorable.
No, but I'm betting on, I'm not betting, but I am putting my confidence in McGregor, because I think that McGregor's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. And I think the people that he surrounds himself with are smart. I think Dana, really smart guy. And
what kind of name is that, anyways?
Dana?
Yeah, sounds like a girl's name.
Well, it's a unisex.
No, it's
unisex. Anyway, he surrounds himself with these people that that they're going over every single mistake that Mayweather has made, every single accomplishment that he's made in a boxing match. And the difference that I think that they have is that there's many things. There's the age factor, there's the size factor, there's the power factor, which is in McGregor's favor, and the fact that did you know that they just switched to 8-ounce gloves?
I did.
What the fuck is Mayweather thinking?
I don't know. I think he thinks he packs a better punch.
That's not true. I mean, they're essentially different weight classes. I mean, McGregor is one weight class above. Like, typically, on most fights, like any other time that they would fight, McGregor is at a different weight class than Mayweather. He's one step above. He's heavier. But he comes down, he's faster, he's more agile, and he definitely has more stamina than Mayweather. I'm not just talking about the age factor. I'm talking about the differences in MMA and boxing. The only thing that McGregor would have to do at that point is to flood Mayweather with every single style that he might have, every single punch that he has, and just bully him for the first 2 or 3 rounds. The thing with Mayweather, if you give Mayweather a template of what you're doing, he'll beat you easily. And how many Mayweather fights have you seen? Like, actually watched?
I mean, I watch a few. I think I watched the Canelo fight, Pacquiao, Castillo,
Yep.
Oscar.
And all guys that have multiple types of styles, right? But they
Yeah.
have a limited amount. How many styles does McGregor have? Like, just stances. I'm not talking about, like, fighting. I'm just talking about stances and different movements. I mean, he had, what, dozens? That are all expert level? And this is why I think that Mayweather, at his age, should have never taken this fight. Because there's so many unknowns. You know, and I think that people aren't giving McGregor enough credit. And the one thing that solidified it for me, and I sent you that video, was that sparring match between him and Paulie. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to watch it. To be
Now,
honest.
Paulie, I don't know how to say his last name. He was world champ, like, just a few months ago. So he's not out of shape. He's not old. And he is a hell of a fighter. I mean, very, very fast, very knowledgeable, very textbook. Kind of like, what was that one Mexican kid that fought really textbook boxing?
It's Canelo.
No, not him. Way before that. Not way before, but like almost 10 years before that. The kid that looked like fucking Ricky Martin or whatever.
Eric Terrible.
No.
El Terrible. No. Then you got Oscar de la Hoya.
Oscar de la Hoya. There you go. You remember the hype behind Oscar de la Hoya? Because like he was, like I said, very textbook.
He wasn't Mexican though.
Oh, what was he?
He's from L.A.
Oh, son of a bitch. He was Mexican then.
He's Latino.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway,
I think he was Latino. I'm pretty sure. Let me look this up because I don't want to like insult somebody if I don't have to.
well, okay. Let me see. The McGregor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. He holds a dual American and Mexican citizenship. Where was he born though? That's the big question.
Okay. So Paulie's
LA.
last name is Paulie Malignaggi, something like that. And this guy is a fucking badass boxer, right? And he just retired. Like, when I say just retired, he just retired. And he got called in to do a sparring match with McGregor. Now, granted, McGregor didn't really give him a chance to prepare. Like, right after Paulie got off the plane, they told him, like, yeah, suit up. We're going to do the sparring match now. This video, I don't care how tired Paulie was. The dude's a boxer. And McGregor beat the fuck out of him in that video. In boxing.
I gotta watch it then.
Yeah, and let me see. I'll get the video here, and I will send it to you. Joe Rogan, he also did like a commentary on it, and it's like I said, it surprised him because he's like, everything aside, like, yes, let's take into account the fact that Paulie just got off the plane. Paulie, he maybe wasn't ready for it, but he's a boxer, and not only is he a boxer, he's an elite boxer. And this guy goes into a ring with a guy that's never professionally boxed. And this guy just pounds Paulie. Now, of course, you don't see the whole fight, but it doesn't matter. If he did that in 1 or 2 rounds, Mayweather should be scared.
Right.
Because now you know McGregor can fight. And not only can he fight, he just beat the shit out of some guy that challenged me. You know, it's just a really interesting situation that I think Mayweather has put himself in. Like I said, I don't think he should have ever accepted the fight, even if he was 99% confident that he could win it.
Money, dude. Needed money.
Dude, I don't know, man. If you have not with that type of guy, I'd be really nice to McGregor. That's all I got to say. I'd be really nice to him and really respectful. Yeah. I wouldn't be talking about any amount of money that he doesn't have that you have. I don't think that's a wise move. And if you know one thing that Mayweather likes to do with those headbutts and stuff, he better not try that in the ring with McGregor.
Yeah.
That's not a wise move. You know, but anyway, why don't we go ahead and take another break, another pee break before we cut out for our last portion of the show. So, all right, we'll see you in a minute, people. And we're back.
I'm in pain.
You mean you're in pain or your butthole's in pain?
My butthole's in pain. I'm in pain.
All right, well, I sent you the link to the very short leak of the sparring match between him and Paulie, McGregor and Paulie. I want you to watch it, just to watch up until you see McGregor like doing some random things. Like you'll just watch the sparring match in the beginning. It's on Skype there. And
holy shit, dude.
Yes. And this, like I said, this solidifies what I believed with how McGregor can get at Mayweather. Now, you saw that first left jab, right?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a jab. I mean, that rocked Paulie.
He's he looks really like unorthodox.
What, McGregor?
Yeah, but
yes, extremely, right?
But I kind of like it though.
Yeah,
like
and
he's like.
Do you think that'll throw off Mayweather?
No, he like leaves his guard down and stuff, and
yes, but if you notice, I mean, it's a very short portion. I mean, very short video. If you just take that of his fighting style, but if you notice, like in the different scenes, he uses different styles.
Yeah.
I've watched it several times, and I'm watching it, and the first one that he's using is very MMA type style, right? It's the basic, it's like a basic jiu-jitsu type style, where you're kind of feeling out the opponent, right? And you're not really fighting. You're just watching. And you're just kind of seeing how they're moving. Basically, it's the same thing for like fencing. When you do those first few hits of the sword, right? You're studying your opponent.
Right.
To see what stance they're using, see what type of fighting style that they're using. It's the same thing. It's the basic jiu-jitsu. Then, in the next one, it's more of a boxing style. And it looks a lot like Rocky Marciano's brawler style. And the thing about that type of style is you are very hard to hit. Because you're down lower, you can have a lot of grazing hits that might hit you, but they don't really do any damage. You know what I mean? They just kind of slide off. A lot of sweat, a lot of Vaseline on your body when you're boxing, right? Not a big deal. And I've noticed that the third style that he was using was a lot like what... Do you remember Evander Holyfield?
Yeah, I do.
You remember his power stance that he used to have?
Yeah.
It was the basic like H pattern for your feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like where you always have your feet in a separate location within the H that you're standing on. And that type of style, it's not very good for like defensive boxing, but it is very, very good for power hitting. And Evander Holyfield used to use it a lot, and he used it on Mike Tyson. And as we all know, Mike Tyson, very good boxer. Not the best defensive boxer, but Evander Holyfield knew that, and so he switched to a power stance. And what that does is it kind of puts your opponent at not necessarily a disadvantage, but it forces them to make mistakes. Because you have to get inside in order to do any damage to someone who's in a power stance. So I thought it was a really interesting video, as short as it might be. But the one thing about that video was most definitely the first hit that he puts on Paulie. And like I said, he didn't put a whole lot into that punch. If you watch it a couple of times, no. It's basically just a left jab. I'm pretty sure McGregor yes. I'm pretty sure that McGregor is a southpaw anyway. But even so, like if you watch the video, I might even post it and kind of put some time stamps on it to keep you so you're just watching that portion. If you watch it and you just look at it a few times, you'll notice these little things like I am, like, the differences in stances and styles that he's using. I gotta say it, McGregor knows how to box. And not only can he box, but he pretty much just put a whooping on the previous champ. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Mayweather should be scared. At least just a little bit. Enough to stay away from him. But, we'll see. I mean, Saturday is fast approaching. That's the date it's on, right?
Yes. Saturday night.
So, a week from today. Well, a week from 11 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's midnight already. Happy Sunday.
Speaking of which, how far are we into the podcast?
I don't know. I did take 2 breaks. So
we did take 2 breaks. So I'd say we're almost at about 2 hours, give or take a couple of minutes.
Well, you want to call it?
We can. I don't think there's really anything else. Most of the things that I put on the set list this week are, kind of neither here nor there. So, Justin.
But everywhere.
We really do appreciate you sending in a question, even though I know you very well and you're probably just being kind. We really do appreciate it because it creates good content for us. And people out there who haven't sent in any questions, just do it.
Erectile dysfunction disease?
Yes. And we're still waiting for the results on all of the boner pills for Zumi's research.
I found some in the gas station where I buy my my tickets and stuff, like my lotto tickets. They're called Rhino. But
of course they are.
But I don't know. Like I saw it and I was like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? Well, it's not just one pill. It's like a couple of them.
Oh, so you have to take more than one at a time.
Yeah, I mean it's like supplements, right? But I'm pretty sure they have like steroids.
They got some crazy thing from like Venezuela or something in it. Yeah. I don't know. I think you should try one.
I don't want a heart attack in my 30s.
Well, just take one.
Like one.
Just take one.
Like one random one out of like the 5 or 6 that they come with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't go crazy. Don't take the whole dose. Just like microdose.
Microdose.
Zumi's quest to microdose boner pills.
No, I think I'm not gonna do the boner pills.
Aw. We were looking for a good update for that.
Yeah. Well, that's what people get for not sending their shit in time.
Yeah. But that's our audience. They're a lot of lookers, no touchers.
Well, then let's call it.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing, I will appreciate, or I do appreciate of our fans. We are very close, and we'll make a little celebration, which this episode in itself is kind of a mini celebration. But we are almost at 2,000 total downloads for this year.
Nice.
And the year's not over. So, once again, fans, listeners, people that lurk and just listen to it for the hell of it. We appreciate you guys, and we have gone beyond our expectations. Let's just say that. It's been a long road, but I've had a lot of fun. And this is episode 30. Holy shit, Zumi.
I know.
30 episodes from November. That's not bad. So, anyway, should I do the outro?
Yeah.
I think that maybe this time, like in the last episode, I kind of added the feature of having nice classical music during our bathroom breaks. I think this week,
you should just
maybe I should add something during my outro.
You should just add toilet flushing in the
I could find like a one of those what do you call it? The free use sound effects and stuff.
A soundboard with a toilet flush.
Yeah. I might be able to find one. I'm going to look for it. But I think during the outro, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I could do like some sort of like, free use music during the outro while I'm reading it. What do you think?
Yeah, you can try it.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I was going to say it. My Google Docs wasn't scrolling down here for a second, so I wasn't going to be able to read it. But okay, here we go. This episode of the Nothing Better to Listen To podcast can be downloaded on iTunes, Google Play, or directly from shoutengine.com. You can go to our website, nbtltpodcast.com. That's right, we own that shit. We didn't own NBTLT because of some metal company somewhere in like Minnesota or something. But one day when we get rich as hell, we're just going to buy it from them. Be sure to leave us a review on iTunes or Google Play or anywhere else if you enjoyed the episode or if you have something to say, anything like advice or anything like that. Just give us a review no matter what. Our bumper music is provided by bensound.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook. You can talk to us on Twitter at NBTLT Podcast. You can always send us an email with your questions or comments at mail@nbtltpodcast.com or to our old one, nbtltpodcast@gmail.com. The NBTLT podcast can also be found on Reddit at reddit.com/r/NBTLT. My voice cracked a little bit on that, but fuck you people, I don't care. Our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube, type in NBTLT, hit the subscribe button, and get all the new episodes that we update. Just like listening to a podcast, but you get to do it in video form with a nice little banner of us sitting in a background on a wallpaper, pretty much. If that's the way you like to listen to it, who cares? But go there, hit subscribe, and that is going to do it for us this week.
Oh, I forgot.
Go for it.
I forgot part 2 of my story.
Oh, I love it. Go. It's a perfect time to do it too.
I know, right? It's like
I
right
miss your outro monologues, dude.
So same day. This time is closer to dinner time, and my wife is still like, "Oh, we should go get some chorizo. Let's do some chorizo." And I'm like, "I'm fucking doing no chorizo, right? Like I'm
fuck
done.
that. We already tried this shit."
I'm like, let's just do some tacos." And she's like, I mean, he's like, I guess we can do tacos. I'm like, okay, like, what if we do this? What if we go to this one place that we know where they sell good, like, flour tortillas?
Yeah.
We'll buy an order of carne asada.
Oh, yeah.
So they give you the carne asada and everything, like, is separate, right? And then with the tortillas that we bought, like, we have cheese in the house. We'll make our own quesadillas. And our asada
I like
quesadilla.
the way you think, boy.
And she's like, okay, well, yeah, let's do that, right? So this place is like in the fucking outskirts of Rosarito. So it's like a 30-minute drive.
Okay, so is it in like the slums or it's just like way out there?
No, it's just way out there, and there's a lot of lights. So, I mean, if you take the
there's a lot of lights.
Yeah. So, well, it's traffic.
Mexico.
It's traffic, right? So
yeah.
So, anyways, So we go there, and then on the way back, I stop at this place where they sell that big ass giant fucking burrito where I posted that
Of course.
and that place has multiple locations. Usually that one, the one from the video, is not the one that I go to. I go to another one that's closer to where I live.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were there, and then we were like, yeah, well, you know, what the fuck? Let's go. So I stop and I go in, and I'm like, hey, so what comes with if I just order if I just do the order of a salad? And they're like, well, it'll be, I think he said like a kilo of meat, right?
It's not bad.
And then he says like we'll chop it for you. We'll have the all the veggies and the guacamole on the side, and you can essentially make around 10 to 12 tacos.
Okay.
Like and they'll give you
like street taco size.
Right, and they'll give you the tortilla. They make them like right there.
Yeah.
We'll give you like the flour tortillas or the corn tortillas, whatever you want. Yeah, flour tortillas are less. I think they only give you like 4. So I'm like, all right, well then give me one, give me an order, but I need everything separated.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, and then he goes, so he brings like the regular foam container where they give you shit, and he's like, the only thing that I'm gonna put together is the beans with the meat, and I'm like, no. And he looks at me, it's like, it's just a little bit. It's like, no, I trust me, I just give them to me separate. I don't want him to mix at all with the beans. I don't want my meat to be mixed at all.
I don't like my meat touching my beans.
So the guy tries to place it. He tries to convince me one more time, saying like, well, but it's not a whole lot of beans that they'll be like right on the side. And I'm like, no.
Like, you don't understand. No beans, like, motherfucker.
I'm like, no, I want them on the side. Like, I know that people that I'm taking this meat to, if they see like meat like touching beans and stuff, like my kids, they won't eat it. So,
and these are Mexican kids.
Yeah. So it's not like it's me trying to like tell you how you do your job. It's just like, this is what I want. I'm the client, right?
Yeah.
Give me what I want. So then I see his body language, and I know the issue now. The issue is he has no control over like this kind of stuff. And so but there's a lady there that she's the one that takes the money and all that stuff. And she's a fucking bitch from what I can tell, right? So I'm
he
thinking,
doesn't want to have to deal with her.
Exactly. So he goes like, well, it'll be inside. And I'm like, no, just put it in a cup. Like people do that in taco stands all the time when you ask for separate stuff. Yeah. They just put it in a cup and they put a lid and whatever, and that's it. Just put it in a cup. And he's like, ask the lady if she'll give you one. And I'm looking at him like
he's like pawning off his job.
I'm like, okay. I got it. Like, and so I go to the lady and I'm like, hi. And like I said, I'm being nice. Hey, could I please have a cup? And she's like, for what?
You're like, here we go.
So I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So I had to do like this little lean where you like put your elbow like on top of the bar, you know?
Such a dick, Sumi.
You know which one. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, the asshole lean.
Yeah, and I go, because I want fucking beans in the cup. Because I'm taking everything separate. And she's like, she does the same shit. Like, well, they're going to put it on the thing. It's like, no, I want everything separate. I don't want any beans touching my meat. And
this is such a ridiculous conversation.
I know.
I'm going to write this as a quote on the website. I don't want beans touching my meat.
So she's like, well, no, but they don't give you like a lot of them. Like, I don't care. I want them in a cup, please. And he's like, well, we don't have any lids. Well, you have aluminum. You can tear a piece of aluminum and just put it on top of the thing, and it won't do anything. Oh, but it's gonna be hot. Like, I'll take the risk. Because she wanted to play it out. It's like, I don't have any foam cups. I have like the plastic cups. I was like, I'll take the fucking risk. That'll work. So the lady's like fucking mumbling some shit about like the beans and stuff. And I'm like, and she's like pouring that thing. And you know, the whole thing about like, it's only going to be a little bit. She filled the whole fucking cup.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's not a little bit of beans. That's a shitload of beans. I'm sorry. And so she puts the lid and stuff, and she's like mumbling something about like, oh, like the fucking beans and it's like gonna be hot and stuff. And I'm like, it's like, sorry, ma'am, I don't mean to be difficult, but you're not fucking giving me a choice. You don't want to give me beans, for crying out loud.
You know what the most amazing part of that about this is
that
to me?
That she did it?
No. Is that if you just do it, you could have saved yourself so much trouble.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a cup, right? Just take the beans instead of putting them with the meat. Just put it here instead of there.
My thing is this, Lonnie. It's a fucking, like, it's not even, it's a fucking Dixie cup.
Yeah.
It's honestly, how much revenue are you losing by giving me the fucking cup full of beans?
And let me ask you, would you have paid 25 cents to have that cup?
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, but, you know, and then at the end, like when she packs everything up, she's trying to play it out like, you know, like, cause she wants to have the last word.
Of course.
You know, it's really hot.
It's a woman.
It's really hot, something like that. Like, I don't care. Like I told you before, I'll take the risk. Thank you.
Do I need to sign a waiver?
I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. But here's the thing. Like, the look on the Takero was fucking priceless, dude. And I think he gave me more meat because he was hearing this whole entire conversation.
Respect, bro.
he's like, damn, like, you take that, old lady. I'm like, damn, dude, like,
he's like living vicariously through your actions.
I'm like, I felt sorry for them, like really, like, cause
like a little Mexican Nazi.
Yeah, because seriously, he was like, ask the lady if she'll give you one, like.
Like, I want to see this shit.
I'm like,
do it.
Like, I ain't fucking scared of her. Like, it's like, dude.
How tall was she?
Oh, she's a short thing. Like, she's short Mexican.
5'2".
Yeah, something like that.
101 pounds.
But
yeah, you know what? It correlates with. I won't go too long, but it correlates with. You've worked with people that like they put so much effort into not doing their job. You've been with these people, right?
Yeah.
They put so much effort into not working that if they put that same amount of effort into just doing the job, it would have been done a long time ago. It just amazes me. Like you talk about like this lady who's so like, to me, it seems like a lady that's just like protective of her realm. It's like, that's what she can control. And then someone comes in and says, yeah, that's fine, but I want you to do this differently. It's like somehow you're like trying to steal her throne.
I don't know.
But this is where I connect it, is that I like those people that just, you can't get them out of that mindset. It's like, dude, you don't have to do it this way. It's like, just do it this way, this one time. You want me to pay, a little extra for the cup? You want me to do this? You want me to do that? Fine, whatever. I'm telling you what I want. If if I would have gone to that same lady and she would have told me, well, that's not how we do it, be like, you know what? I will pay you $1 extra on the check to do this for me. Just fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe there lies the difference between, you and me.
I'm not a dick.
I didn't offer to pay extra, and I didn't feel like I should offer to pay.
No, I
extra,
don't. I don't think you should have to.
It was a large order. I mean, the order itself, it's like $20. So
whenever I go to, and you're probably just like me, whenever I go to a restaurant, I'm extremely respectful to the waiter or hostess or whoever's working there, right? Because I know that it sucks. I know that some days you're working there, you want to fucking jab a pen in your eye because you had some shitty ass customer that treated you like you were a piece of shit. I get it. I really do. I've worked some really shitty jobs, no pun intended, being a janitor. And I know how people treat you. And I get it. And the best thing that ever happened to me in those jobs was somebody that treated me with just a small modicum of respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
when you go there and you're treating somebody with respect and you're saying, you know what, I know this might be a little different, but I would really appreciate it if I could get this instead of this.
Yeah.
And when it's something as simple as not putting beans with the meat. You know what I mean? And when I approach that situation, when I ask the question, when I request something, I do it in a way that I'm like, you know what? Is there any way that I could just not have rice?
Yeah.
And instead, could I just get some broccoli? It's like, does it cost extra? Like, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that and that? And most of the time, like 99% of the time, they're like, no, yeah, I'll go put broccoli on it instead. And then they'll write a little note on there.
Lonnie, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a there's a second story to my second story. now that I remember. Well, no,
it's like what's
I should have started with. I should have opened up.
It's like Inception.
I know, right? It's a story within a story. So we get home, and I make the quesadillas with the other tortillas, and in the meantime, I'm having a taco with the the corn tortilla that I asked for, right?
God, you are really going into the sciences of Mexican food right now.
So anyways, I eat my quesadilla.
Don't say that.
I eat my taco, and then my wife is like, "Where's the beans?" Like,
oh my God.
You fucking fought for these beans. Like, I left them at the car. I left them inside the car. I'm like,
it should have been the first thing you grabbed, like it was a trophy.
I know. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. So I come in, I'm pouring like the beans, and I'm like, oh, these are really good fucking beans, especially when
they're joined with the meat.
It's like I can taste the tears of that lady.
It would have been funnier if you ate the beans and you're like, you know what? They really do taste better when they're with the meat.
I know, right? So later on,
it's such a dick move.
So later on, my kids were not like they didn't eat for some reason. They waited like an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
So I ate because I was really, really hungry. And maybe that's why I was like kind of an asshole, because I was hungry already, and she told me I couldn't have it my way. So, but
it's not Burger King, bro.
But then I come to the table, and Axel's eating a couple of tacos, and Kenji's eating a couple of tacos, no beans, and the baby has the spoon, and he's eating the shit out of those beans. he finished the entire cup, and I'm like, see, I guess they taste better when when they're on the cup and not mixed with the beans.
Did you do the cross arm thing and then you lift your chin up a little bit?
No, and I nodded like,
That's right. Fucking puta.
So that's my second part to my second part.
Oh, and it was a gorgeous story, Zumi. See, this is what we need to have after our outro.
I know.
Every fucking podcast.
I will go and attract misery if it entertains you guys.
This is where we get our numbers from, Zumi. keep the audience happy. All right, people. Well, if that's it for you, Zumi, I think that's going to be it for me.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, I don't think we'll do a short episode for the McGregor fight, or I say McGregor fight. I'm not going to acknowledge Mayweather.
I believe you just did.
Asshole. But expect 2 weeks from now, we will be doing our 31st podcast. Not quite as special as the 30th, but just as entertaining. And we hope to see you guys there and hope to see some of your questions and comments. You guys have a good 2 weeks.
Peace.